Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Megan Maynard, the founder and face behind Freedom in Health, where she champions health freedom through nutrition, holistic wellness, and anti-processed food advocacy. Her content spotlights real food recipes, toxic-free living tips, and personal experiments like seed oil swaps that have slashed inflammation for her community. With a no BS approach blending science-backed insights and daily accountability challenges, Megan equips busy people to reclaim energy and ditch corporate health myths. With that being said, Megan, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you, Milan. I'm so honored to be here.
It's great to have you here. We're going to have some fun. There is a lot of things that I want to talk about. So we're just going to dive right into all of this. And by this point, you already know how I love to open up is with a little bit of a time travel. So we're going to do the same thing. And for you, before launching this current company of yours, what was that journey like for you before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for even getting into this space?
Yeah, so going all the way back, I had gut issues from birth in terms of chronic constipation and later developed into SIBO, gastroparesis, gastritis, eventually into colitis and IBS along the way as well. And I dealt with those issues on my own because I didn't receive a lot of help from the medical community. But then after a medical injection in my late 20s, I started developing severe neurological symptoms. And that sent me down a road to really trying to understand what was happening to my body because I was a very high performing person, very high level athlete. And all of a sudden, my body was just completely collapsing. And that led me into a 10-year journey within the medical system, both conventional and alternative, desperately searching for answers as my health continued to worsen. And along the way, I saw over 35 doctors and specialists. I just kept racking up numerous diagnoses, but yet there was no real answer. In fact, I was told that I was the most difficult case that they had ever seen, and that I would just have to manage these symptoms with medications and so forth for the rest of my life. After those 10 years, I was nearly on my deathbed. I was just a shell of myself. I had lost so many things in my life, my career, eventually my marriage, the ability to really participate in life. And so at that point, I was introduced to the medical medium information. And it was completely unknown to me that I could heal in a way that balanced my health through natural means, fruits, vegetables, herbs, some supplements, really supporting my body's ability to heal versus trying to bombard it with so many external means. And so I just jumped in head first into that framework of information. And over the course of the following 6 years, I completely healed over 140 different chronic symptoms and conditions that had just debilitated my life. So not only all the gut issues, but all of the neurological issues, including neurological Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, chronic migraines, POTS, chronic fatigue syndrome, and a whole host of other symptoms and conditions that came up along the way. And with that, I knew even as I was going through my own healing process, which was still very challenging for a long time, that I had to share this information. And then I had to help the person that I used to be because I had worked in the medical field as a doctor of physical therapy for a decade until my health became so debilitated that I had to completely stop. And so at this point, I was like, I'm going to merge, the health science background that I have. And I also have a background in food science and human nutrition. So I'm going to merge those scientific aspects with the holistic aspect to really help people reclaim not only their health, but get their lives back through
Mm.
natural means.
Yeah, this is amazing. So many years of personal struggle. So obviously, I hate to hear something like this, but you push through it though. I'm thinking now about like how many people are actually going through it right now without knowing that there is a solution. So I think when it comes to like gut health and having those kind of health issues, it hasn't been a long time since you've been seeing a lot of professionals talking about it and the message being spread on social media. So I love that there is a lot of people talking about it now. And when it comes to this, I'm also curious. I feel like every single professional in the industry has a different sort of angle towards their offerings and how they help people. But for you, do you is it about you walking the client through the entire journey one on one, or how are you setting this up to be able to really help that person and really get them from point A to point Z? What does that look like?
Yeah, so my specific focus is in helping people who are very sensitive and who don't respond to the typical protocol in a typically expected manner. And that was my journey. I worked with so many people that told me, oh, if you do this, then you'll get that. And unfortunately, my body didn't respond that way. And through my journey, and then seeing, yes, so many people that are struggling now, there's so many people who are just highly sensitive. Their bodies have become so sensitive, their nervous systems are so sensitive. And so those are the type of people that I work with primarily. And so with that, yes, we're really making the process fully personalized, fully customized. The majority of my work is one-on-one because I am taking what I learned and what I didn't get and helping to create a, a better path forward for that person who hasn't been able to receive what they desire as well. And with that said, it's not going to be customary. It's not going to be just applying a protocol and say, let's just check in and see how things are going. No, I am with that person every step of the way
Mm.
to help to answer the questions, to help to address all the weird things that come up that are not expected, and to navigate through that to the other side.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, the exact reason why I'm jumping straight into the client journey, though, because I feel like you made it quite obvious that the person that you want to help is basically just the past version of you, which makes a lot of sense. And those people, they tried the conventional medicine, they tried years and still no results. When it comes to this, and it also feels a little bit weird to switch it up to the business perspective, but at the end of the day, it is a business podcast. And at this point, you already know we love to talk about scalability and what sort of models can really get companies to the next level. But knowing that you really have this hands-on approach and you walk the client through the journey every step of the way, how do you think you are going to be able to allow yourself to help as many people as possible? Is it potentially about having other professionals who can work with your knowledge and with your expertise and methodologies, or maybe pivoting towards group coaching models, somehow making that happen? Or what is your thought process when it comes to this?
So where I started was just one-on-one fully. And like I said, that's the majority of my focus still, but I have created a group program. So that is part of my offerings at this point in time. And yes, I do want to help as many people as possible, but I also realize that the high touch is just as equally important. I honestly do not want to be that person that's just taking on hundreds and hundreds of clients that I see maybe once every few months, if that. And because I experienced that in the past for myself, where I just felt like a number in line, that my focus is on helping each individual as thoroughly as possible to really move through the process of recovering from chronic illness. so that they can have the confidence, have the understanding, have the knowledge to not only help themselves, but they can go out and help others. And with that said, it's not out of the question in the future that I could potentially take on some more people and help to create a network of people helping people in this capacity.
Yeah, that would be exciting though. Because obviously you found something that works that can literally change lives. So it would definitely be an idea worthy of exploring. But let me ask you this question. We always switch it up to the back end side of the business and how you approach this business from the marketing standpoint to make sure that your message even is getting across, right? Especially in the world of social media and there being so much noise from other professionals in that industry. What is it that you specifically do now with your marketing and maybe that lead generation piece to have this ability to continually find those right people who actually need you and they're in a position to do something about it?
So I keep it as simple as possible. I focus on three main pillars, which is content, conversations, and then coaching. So the content is exactly that. The content that I'm creating, that I'm putting out through social media, primarily Instagram. I have been sharing my story, my healing journey on Instagram for the last 6+ years now. And it's evolved. So some people have been following me since that long ago. And now, as I gain new followers, as I have new eyes on my content, I'm really trying to help to give away all of my information for free. So, helping people without them even having to come to me is really first and foremost for me. And then that leads into conversations in the DMs, conversations where either people reach out to me or I might comment on something that they've said. And so it just naturally and organically creates these conversations where I'm building that relationship. And then that leads into a consult call, then to a strategy call, then to eventually a person becoming a client, if that is what they choose.
Mhm. Now, when it comes to getting the number of those people, I'm curious. I think for a lot of people in the healthcare industry and health and well-being, whatever that might be, again, there is a lot of noise out there, right? So it's not easy to actually create a content that really stands out. And it's attracting people who are going to be engaged with you and the type of content you create so that you can even generate those conversations in the first place. I'm curious, so far, for you specifically, was it just leveraging the organic channels, or have you also explored the paid side of social media just to create more exposure, more volume, or what is your experience with that?
So far, it has been purely organic. And with that said, it's fascinating to me because I do have referrals. I have repeat clients that will refer other people as well. And even in the online space, I have people that share my content with others. And then somehow they find me. And I'm always amazed that, wow, even in this huge, expansive space, people do really find each other when it's a fit for them.
I love it. Megan, obviously, this is a proof that what you're doing is actually working and you are talking to the right people. Because I think for the majority of people, it's going to be about the ability to communicate effectively. What is that issue that I'm solving and in what way? And just having overall like that specificity about what you can offer. So I love it. Do you feel like this is going to eventually get to the point where you need to explore other paths, whether it is that paid side, whether it's maybe like strategic partnerships with other professionals, or what are you expecting out of it?
So I have just recently brought on my first form of help on the back end of the business operations, which is really exciting to get to this point. And so I'm working with a health coaching consultant who is really helping me with this lead generation aspect and organizing some of the pieces around the client acquisition process. And with that, yes, I do foresee building at least a small team as the future unfolds. And absolutely, potentially exploring those paid options and how to expand my reach as much as possible.
Now, talking about the team, though, this is exciting. So I wanted to get to it either way, but you do know that we love talking about delegation as well. I think there is a point in time where every business owner realizes that there is a limit to what I can humanly do. So I'm going to have to delegate to others and let somebody else take over the responsibility. But with you thinking about the team and the size of the team and what kind of people you would like to support you, what would be that most ideal structure that you would like to see?
It's really about one thing at a time for me. And that's been my whole course of action since I started coaching, is that when the need starts to present itself, then I start addressing that next level. So, what does it look like right now? Like I said, I have one person that I'm working with, and I do foresee in the future that I will probably need at least two, maybe three more people to handle some of those business operations aspects so that, yes, I have the time to continue to show up, to serve my clients, to really put out great content, to be having the conversations, and so that I'm not feeling like I'm underwater either. So that's where I'm at right now. But as I see it, it's just how things start to unfold and that momentum starts to build over time.
Yeah, Megan, it looks like you're really giving it like enough space to really evolve and just like a natural flow and natural growth of the company. So it's going to be interesting talking about the goals. But when it comes to your goal setting, if we look at it from a short-term perspective, meaning maybe just the next couple of months, maybe till the end of this year, I'm curious, what would you say are those biggest targets for you? Maybe some of the milestones that you have set for yourself or the business, maybe the revenue that you want to generate. What does it look like for you?
My goal is to double my impact. So, looking at last year was a big improvement over the year before. And then coming into this year, I actually want to double the amount of people that I was able to serve last year by the end of this year. And that's why I say, just as things continue to evolve, that I look at what is that next step and how can I best show up in service for others so that they can be healing their bodies and really living the life that they love.
Doubling the amount of people that you're going to help this year. Now, let me ask you this. That's a big growth though. So, what are you expecting to stand in the way of that?
The main thing is my energy and my capacity, being mostly in charge of everything. When it comes to achieving that goal, I see that I am going to grow my group coaching a bit more. I may, in fact, come up with another offering that can serve more people. And with that said, my my own capacity as a business owner and operator has continuously expanded over the last few years. And so even at this point, I'm not completely booked out yet or completely full yet. And I can see that I can be able to show up and work with more people one on one.
I think the one of the big contributors of your capacity growing is actually the passion that you have. Wouldn't you agree?
I wholeheartedly agree. Yes, thank you.
You know what? I think it's amazing to me as you started talking about the story. It's years and years of being in pain and just having to constantly ask the right questions, seeking the answers. So I can only imagine what it feels like to you now being in a position where you know the right answers. Now you just need to find the people who are willing to listen and they need your help. It's a beautiful journey. I'm going to ask you my last question, I promise, but this is one of my favorite ever, so I have to. But with you going through this business journey and helping those people and building this project, what is something that you like one of those strong aha moments from like business perspective, something that you maybe didn't know back in the day, just starting out, but you do know now?
The thing that comes to mind, and this is so similar to the healing journey as well, is that you don't have to have everything figured out all at once. It's having a vision, it's having a goal, it's keeping your eyes on that prize, but then it's just taking one step at a time, meeting yourself where you are with what you have available for you, with what you know at this time, continuously learning, having that growth mindset that there really are no mistakes, there's just learnings. And so that you can continually see progress, because progress is really where the momentum is built. And that's how we get to accomplishing anything that's important to us.
No, that's a strong finish. Thank you for that. Beautiful. Megan, again, you have a lovely journey. Thank you so much for actually taking some of your time today and sharing the story with me and the audience that we have here. And if we have anybody who's listening to us right now and would like to know more about you, the type of work that you do, how you can help them, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is through Instagram. My handle is freedom.in.health. And feel free to pop into my DMs, say hi. I am always there to have a conversation. There's never any pressure. It's just about me wanting to help genuinely.
I believe that. Beautiful. Thank you again, Megan. It was a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io. Get in touch with our team and discover how exactly we scaled our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.